Your Excellency, sir, Chief Minister, Ministers and Deputy Ministers, the Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, the Chairman, Presidential Initiative on Food Security, Climate Change, and Renewable Energy, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. In exercise of the powers conferred on Your Excellency by the Constitution of Sierra Leone, Act Number 6 of 1991, it pleased Your Excellency to appoint a number of eminent Sierra Leoneans to serve as ministers and deputy ministers, respectively. Further to the said appointments, Your Excellency, and their resounding approval by the House of Parliament, we are here to witness the oath-taking and the swearing in. May it now please you, Your Excellency, for me to invite the Secretary to Cabinet and Head of the Civil Service to preside over that aspect in the agenda. Thank you, sir.
Your Excellency, sir, following Your Excellency's nomination of worthy Sierra Leoneans to serve as ministers and deputy ministers in Your Excellency's government, I now have the honor to inform you, sir, that after due diligence, Parliament constituted has approved these same persons to serve as ministers and deputy ministers, as approved by Your Excellency. Therefore, in accordance with Section 57 of the Constitution of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Act Number 6 of 1991, which requires a minister or a deputy minister not to enter upon the duties of his or her office unless he or she has taken and subscribed to the oath as prescribed. I have the honor as Secretary to the Cabinet and Head of the Civil Service to present these distinguished compatriots to you, sir, to subscribe to the oath of office as follows. Dr. David Mwenina Senge as Chief Minister. Dr. Henry Musa Baka as Minister of Agriculture and Food Security. Haja Dr. Ramatulai Uri as Minister of Technical and Higher Education. Mrs. Nabila Farida Tunis as Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs. Madam Manti Tarawali as Minister of State, Office of the Vice President. Deputy Ministers. Mr. Alfred Moy Jamiru as Deputy Minister of Local Government and Community Affairs. Ms. Phyllis Kapu as Deputy Minister of Lands, Housing and Country Planning. Engineer Dr. Eldred Tunde Taylor as Deputy Minister of Energy. Mrs. Emily K. Gogra as Deputy Minister 1 in the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education. Mrs. Christiana Queen Fofana as Deputy Minister of Works and Public Assets. Mr. Ibrahim Sanon as Deputy Minister of Communications, Technology and Innovation. Mr. Kai Lawrence as Deputy Minister of Sports. Mr. Hindowa Buakai Bindi as Deputy Minister of Gender and Children's Affairs. Colonel Retired Mwana Brahma Masakwe as Deputy Minister of Defense. Dr. Teresa Tene Dig as Deputy Minister 1, Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. Mr. Sir B. Hemo as Deputy Minister to Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. Dr. Charles Senesi as Deputy Minister 1, Ministry of Health. Mr. Mohammed Lansanat Bubuya as Deputy Minister of Employment, Labor and Social Security. Haja Mrs. Aisatu Abdullahi Kamara as Deputy Minister of Fisheries and Marine Resources. Mrs. Mamusu Masakoi as Deputy Minister to Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education. The Reverend Dr. Jonathan Titus Williams as Deputy Minister of Planning and Economic Development. Dr. Khadijatu Grace A. Kamara as Deputy Minister of Tourism and Cultural Affairs. Mr. Rex Bonafa as Deputy Minister of Transport and Aviation. Now we come to the oath taking. And I kindly request that we all stand. Unfortunately, we don't have the Bible and Quran to go around, but it's just by affirmation. You raise your right hand and we do the affirmation. And please repeat after me. I do hereby in the name of
Allah,
solemnly affirm
that
I will faithfully and truly discharge
I will faithfully and truly discharge
the duties of
the duties of the office of Deputy Minister in the Republic of Sierra Leone,
and that I will support, uphold, and maintain the Constitution of Sierra Leone as by law established. So help me.
Allah.
Thank you. So I will now invite ministers in the pecking order to move forward to the table and sign the instrument in the presence of His Excellency the President. Dr. David Medina Senge. Dr. Henry Musa Baka. Haja Dr. Lamatulai Wuri. Mrs. Nabila Farida Tunis. Madam Manti Tarawali. Mr. Alfred Moy Jamil. Madam Phyllis Kapo. Engineer Dr. Eldred Tunde Taylor. Mrs. Emily K. Gogra. Mrs. Christiana Queen Fufana. Mr. Ibrahim Salone. Mr. Kai Lawrence. Mr. Inoa Buakai Bibi. Colonel retired Mwana Raima Masakoi. Dr. Teresa Tene Dick. Mr. Sabi Emo. Dr. Charles Senesi. Mr. Mohamed Lansana Dubuya. Mrs. Haja Aisatu Abdullahi Kamara. Mrs. Mamusu Masakoi. The Reverend Dr. Jonathan Titus Williams. Dr. Khadijatu Grace A. Kamara. And Mr. Rex Unafa.
Thank you very much, Secretary to the Cabinet. May I now have the honor of inviting the Chief Minister to make a statement on behalf of the Ministers and Deputy Ministers.
Your Excellency, colleague ministers, Secretary to the President, Secretary to the Cabinet, family, friends, well-wishers, good afternoon. Please allow me to start by thanking God for His grace. There are many who are fit to be in these positions we have now. And by any metric, there's somebody who will feel like they deserve to be here, but aren't. So we are all well aware that it is only by the grace of God and the generosity of you, His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio, that we are in these roles at this moment. We don't take this blessing lightly. I've spoken to all of my colleagues, and we're ready, determined, and committed to this call of service. We are because we believe in your vision and leadership. We are because we know that no matter how educated or wealthy we are, nothing compares to public service and delivering for our people. We're committed to the ideals on which our great party, the Sierra Leone People's Party, was formed. Ideals of human capital development and education, ideals of unity, inclusion, and economic prosperity, and ideals of nationalism and patriotism. It is these ideals which are embedded in the People's Manifesto and the New Direction vision that are evident on our proud and glowing faces today. My colleagues have already started working, Your Excellency. They are collaborating with each other and are eager to demonstrate that it is possible to transform our nation. This work has been ongoing. In fact, over the last 5 years, we have reformed policies, laws, regulations, treaties, and more that had not been touched since independence. You have shown us that we can dream big, be radical, and still win. The people overwhelmingly voted for you to form the 6th government of the Republic of Sierra Leone because you said no to the death penalty. You said no to the ban of pregnant girls in school. You said no to criminal libel. You said no to a president unilaterally controlling the academic sector. You have shown us that we can say no to corruption, that we can say no to religious and ethnic intolerance, and that we can say no to incompetence. And the number of things you have said yes to, Your Excellency, are too many to count. Reducing maternal mortality, increasing investments in human capital, inclusion, judiciary reforms, and many more. You have told us that yes, we can. For me, as Chief Minister of this country, my work started in 1954 with Sir Milton Magai, one of the founding fathers of our great party and this great nation. I'm grateful that the most recent Chief Ministers, Professor David Francis and Mr. Jacob Jusuf have told me that they are only a phone call away. I plan on making those calls for answers, to ask questions, and to learn as much as I could so I can help my colleagues deliver for you, our party, and our country. Your Excellency, I am grateful. My family, represented by my parents, is grateful, but most importantly, the young people of this country are grateful to you because you have finally showed us that we can be part of national transformation. Among your ministers, there are 10 who are below 40. We have 3 that are 32-year-olds. Not to speak of gender, you have broken the glass ceiling for women and you did it effortlessly. Your cabinet has someone from every district in this country, including Banana Island. Personally, I am overwhelmed but excited, and I'm jazzed to be leading and working with these ministers. I promise that I'll give my all to you, to the Vice President, to my colleagues, and to the people of this country. We will work with everyone in the judiciary, the parliament, civil society, international partners, private sector, media, and citizens to make sure Sierra Leone is better tomorrow than it is today. We will visit offices, hospitals, schools, and farms to make sure that we are on track. And we will talk about what we see there when we visit, not because we want to be punitive, but because we have a shared responsibility to our people. Allow me to end this short talk of appreciation, which really is to demonstrate our gratitude to you by dedicating this historic moment to the young people watching in Sierra Leone and around the world. This moment is dedicated to every boy and every girl who dared to show up how they wanted to. Dreadlocks, red socks, no talks. I'm wearing the jackets today, so. To every boy and every girl who dare to dream and hold on to that vision, a vision of service to self, to community, and to our nation. And allow me to dedicate this moment also to every man and every woman who offer opportunities to others so they too can become the best versions of themselves, no matter their age, ethnicity, tribe, religion, or socioeconomic status. Finally, this moment of history is dedicated to you, Your Excellency Dr. Julius Maada Bio, for truly being the game changer for our country. The people, us in government, the opposition, and the citizens will do our best to follow your vision and your lead. Thank you again for this opportunity of service to our people. We will deliver, we will win, and may God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Chief Minister, for your statement. Your Excellency, sir, may it now please you most graciously to make a statement.
Thank you very much. The Chief Minister, Secretary to Cabinet, senior members of the Presidency present here this afternoon, ministers, deputy ministers, welcome. And let me seize this opportunity to, first of all, congratulate all of you for ascending to these positions. The honeymoon is not going to be long. It's a difficult task, but it's a national task, and it must be accomplished. There are no excuses. We represent the people, and we have to make sure we deliver for them. Congratulations to a very difficult job. You are going to be scrutinized. You are under the microscope at all times. Your job is not defined in any dictionary, the work of a minister or a deputy minister. We try to make it easier for you by giving you terms of reference. But it's a gamut of things that you have to accomplish as political heads of these ministries. As much as we can, we will guide you from the leadership point of view to make sure that you succeed. That is my task, and I pledge to do that. It is extremely difficult to take on the task that we have ahead of us all. Our states may be independent but not properly formed because the structures have a lot of capacity gaps. Yet we expect you to perform with those gaps. You must fill them in whichever way you can, and that is where your work becomes extremely difficult. We have done so, others have done so, and in the past government, or during the last term, we have done extremely well, I must say, with all modesty. We have laid a solid foundation for which we have been acknowledged and recognized not only within our nation, but also out of this country. Our human capital development program has gone well, started well. We must take it to fruition. Every child in this country, every village in this country knows about what we have done in that sector. It is no mean task, especially when you take into consideration the atmosphere globally and nationally. It has been extremely difficult, but with all of us on board, we have, I think, had a good start, because for me it is only a start. So, in as much as we want to embark, and we are going to now put Feed Salone as the prime item on our agenda, we are going to make sure we consolidate our gains in the education sector. As you all know, it plays very well into what we want to do, everything that we want to do. So I'm going to challenge all of you. No excuses. You must perform. You must take your ministry to the next level. We are Sierra Leoneans. We are considered to be the brainiest on this continent. We are also the most peaceful in West Africa and third most peaceful in Africa, with all the palavers that we do every day. We are a good people. I want us to acknowledge this and therefore diminish our differences and forge national cohesion so that we can achieve for our children. We are lagging behind by too far, but yet we have the wherewithal. And that is what I want to inspire you all to do. We can do it. We can feed Salone. The Ministry of Agriculture and every other department. I'm happy Dr. Yonkela is here. Although he seems to have gone more to climate change now, I'm going to bring him to food before we change this climate, which is being polluted by others. Let's eat if we are eating well, we can cope with the, yes. We have to, by 2028, we should not be importing rice in this country. I say this on behalf of all of you. Whichever way we can, let's take the route to get there. We have most of what it takes. So we are going to task him and few others to really show us the roadmap to get into that point by 2028, if possible, before 2028. Yesterday and last week, shamefully, we are grumbling about the lack of onions in the market. For me, if I don't see it, I don't even see it in the cassava leaf, so I don't mind. Nor in the potato leaves. Only those who eat soup know that there is onion or no onion. But we have a lot of other substitutes for it. Why should we be buying onion in this country? We are taking the little monies we have to send overseas to workers in Holland and other places, and they are getting richer, and we are getting poorer. When we can produce in Longe, I went to Kwenadugu and Falaba. The onion they gave to me was as huge. It's a giant onion, and yet we have to import. Why are we doing this to ourselves? We have to answer all of this. And nobody, and I dare you to be creative, innovative, think out of the box, of boxes where we've been. That's the only way we are going to make progress. Don't do it the same way that others have done it and think you are going to succeed. Yes, if they have not succeeded, how are you going to succeed? We have made a difference because we've been radical in our thought process, innovative and creative. And that is why I'm happy to work with a young team guided by older folks in government, by age and in governance, so that we can get to our destination, which is success. By 2028, when I leave the political scene, I want to go smiling, knowing that I have contributed. And we should be that group of people, that generation of politicians, that we go retire knowing that maybe some people will still continue, because there are a lot of young people. Anyway, when I'm retiring, I should not retire for, yes. But let's set the pace. We have struggled for too long as a nation. We should make a difference. And that is the challenge I throw to all of you. I'm very pleased to work with each and every one of you. I will provide the guidance. I don't know it all, but I know people who know what to do. And when I cannot, I will always bring that to your service. Don't hesitate. Don't be afraid. Go for it. Deliver for yourself, for this government, for me, and for the people of this country. Thank you.
Your Excellency, your words have always inspired hope, and we are indeed grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, can we rise for the national anthem?